Hey guys, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So today I'm going to be talking about the books I read in October. Now October was a special month, it was my birthday month. So I did take 1 week off during my birthday week, till about 5 or 6 days, not to read anything. I enjoyed myself, I was in the moment, and I think that's so important if you're an avid reader, to take the break, regroup, and dive back in some good book. Now I've read some good books. There are some that, not some, just one that wasn't the greatest, but I'm happy I read it. So I'm going to start off with that one. And that is Imago. And this is Octavia Butler. My last book, guys. My last novel. I've read all her novel right now. There is a few novellas that's floating around and short story that I haven't read yet, but as far as our novels, I've completed them all now. Now this is the third book in the series, so I can't talk much about it, but what I can say is was my favorite. I liked the direction it was going in first. I thought it was going to be so exciting because this is an offspring that did not wasn't the norm, and the expectation that comes with that, or the fear that comes with that. I thought it was going to be but it turned into something else. But what I can still say is she has that message in this book, and there's that moment where you wonder, how did she even understand these possibilities before time, based on when it was written. And there's certain things about gender and roles that you talk about in this book, that you can have a discussion about in this book, and that pertain to now. So I always get intrigued by her writing and her mind, but this one, it fell flat towards the end. I was just kind of not impressed as much. Now that's it. But it's not a terrible book, it just wasn't as good as the other books. So yeah. Then I did my first ever live, yes, on this channel. It's a bucket list moment, woohoo. So, and I did a read along, which is for Lauren Naylor Mama Day. And when I first wanted to select a book, this one popped up a lot on people's favorites. So I said, you know what, we're gonna do this, and I can see why. This is a story that really shows you the connection of family, of community, of the past, and moving forward, and love. You felt the love in this. And this is a story about this woman who is about 9 years old. Her sister is a year younger, and she's like the protector of this town that doesn't quite exist on the map, but it exists. And her grandniece is out in New York City exploring the world, and she met a man, and there's that thing that happened to draw them back to the town. Back to the town that has baggage still of the past, this dark cloud over the niece, and all the things that's happened. So there's that magical realism in this that made the story so interesting. But the connection of the family and the community, and how they talk to each other, how they exist in that town, makes you even more love the story even more. And I had a really healthy discussion on my channel. Videos up, so if you've read this, go check it out. But this is definitely a must read. Yeah. Then I read my last booker, which was The Fortune Man, and I didn't realize when I started reading this until after I was finished, and I did a little research. I tend to do that with a lot of the books to get what were their inspiration. And then I realized this was actually based on a true story. So this is, if you look up the characters in this, they exist. It's a real story. And it's about a Somalian man that was falsely accused of murder. And in this book, you are in his mind. So she created a fictional side of it because she didn't know what was in his mind. So that's where the fiction comes in. But as far as the accused, being accused of a murder, of certain court situation, those were in fact true. And so in the story, it's kind of thinking about a man who is in his final stage of life, and he knows, or he expected, there's that up and down experience with him, where that I am going to get out of this, or oh, this is it. And so she wrote it in a way that you imagine that's what he's thinking. You imagine him reflecting on his past, on his childhood, on his family. But then there's also that moment in this where he was broken from his family, but it's that bittersweet moment where he and his family could reconnecting, and the love you can see with his wife and his children and all that that's happening in this book. The only issue I had with this book, because there were moments of filler. There's moments where I felt the author was trying to stretch the book a bit, and those are the moments that I annoyed me a little, because I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a filler situation. But for the most part, I do think it's a really good book to read, especially knowing that it is inspired by a true story. And you can definitely go look up the case, and there's so many things that's happened since this book was since this murder happened in the book, which was in 1952. There's a lot of things that's happened since that I didn't know, that I looked up, and how he was, you know, things they found out about the case after the fact that you should look up. And I think that was a good thing, that they didn't just let it be. Don't let, you know, the innocent just be because they're no longer here. They still pursue a lot of things, and I thought that was interesting for the book. But it wasn't my favorite in terms of winning the book. Yeah, I know. But it's still a good book. And then the book that entertained the hell out of me. Bleak House. Yes. So you guys know I'm a Dickens. Hello. So this is my 7th Dickens, and I have to say his writing in this one was definitely different. It is a bit of him, but I felt like he was in his moment. He was just trying to be extra, but in a good way, of how he talks about death. And there's a bit of spirituality in this as well. And so this is a story about John Dice or John Dice. This is a forever court case of people fighting over who is the right heir to a fortune. And there's several wills, paperwork, and they can't clear. So they've been fighting over it for many years. People have died since, and then there's their offspring now coming to contest the will. So in this, though, there's a lot of secrets, because this one woman, Esther, is her caretaker passed away, so she is taken in by a guardian who's also happens to be a John Dice, and he also took in the cousins who are in the now in the courtroom with the case situation. And with Esther, everything surrounds her, because there's no information about who her parents were. So she's grew up not knowing who her mom, her father, where she came from, nothing. So in this, that's where there's that secret reveal, that secret. But what I like about Dickens, he didn't drag that part. We knew early on who her parents were, which I like that he did in this story, because it's thick, and he could have really dragged it on longer than that. He didn't. It was just done right. And but there's these characters that just are entertaining as hell. You have Guppy. I wanted to punch him a couple times, because Guppy tried it. Guppy tried it. He was pursuing this woman, and then when he realized something happened to her, and she looked the same. Forget we had this conversation. Forget I wanted you. I holler. Then we have Lady Deadlock, and I felt for her in this. I felt for her as a woman of that time, of that woman who had to bear the burden of regrets, perhaps mistakes, and how everything went down with her. It was just very sad, you know. But then you also think of her husband. You think of how he felt and the what ifs in this. Then you also have another jerk face, which was what was his name? Talking Heart, Mr. Talking Heart, digging up things. You know, wouldn't leave things alone. You know, got what he deserved. So maybe I shouldn't say that. you know, you gotta make it juicy, right? And then you have, you know, you see how this will and this court case can destroy people, can cause people to do the worst, and ultimately, you know, could have ruined them. And you see that in this. I enjoy this. I mean, one thing I could say, there was a whole lot of death up in here. There's a whole lot of either it's natural cause, murder, something. There's a whole lot of that going on in this. But it was so entertaining. I really loved the writing in this. I mean, there's a particular part when someone was dying and they were just reciting the Lord's Prayer, and how he wrote that part. It was just kind of like dang, yeah. But he really went there with death. He went there with what we have, the Esther. I felt more sad for her also, because I felt like there were so many pull that she was going through, and the expectation of her, it just was weird, because, you know, like, she's attached to these two young people, and she's supposed to be grateful for that. That was annoying. Then the guardian, ooh, child, that guardian, when he tried it. I was just like grossed out. I was doing the whole, you know, you read a book and your face just screwed up. That was me, because I was just like, no, we're not doing that. And then, you know, Dickens rolled back in a little at the end, because I was ready to throw this book, like, oh, we're not doing that. That is, we're not doing that. So that too, I felt she was just, you know, just being pulled, and oh, I'm supposed to be grateful, so therefore I'm going to be doing this because I'm supposed to be grateful. And I'm thinking she's never been in a position where she could truly be herself, truly be appreciated in a way that doesn't come with some nonsense. And that's what I felt happened in this. She was just a nice woman, and this freaking man decided that he wanted to, oh, yeah, if y'all read this, yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. But I enjoyed this. And it definitely wasn't, you know, had a more darker side, not as comedic as Nicholas Nickleby, where I holler and freaking laugh the whole time. But it still gave you that suspense, a bit of an adventure. You know, it's Dickens. It's Dickens, but his writing definitely was very good in this. I really enjoyed this. So yeah. So that is it, guys. I could talk about Dickens some more. I could really talk about this book some more, but I'm gonna, you know, stop it here. But if you're looking for a classic, I definitely say you can definitely get into that one. And I'll probably like do it in Vlogmas, talk more about all the other Dickens that I've read so far, and which one you should get into. But yeah, so we're gonna end this video here, and thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day. Bye.